TV personality Mario Lopez is being criticized for claiming it's dangerous for parents to support children who identify as transgender.
Look, I'm never one to tell anyone how to parent their kids, obviously. And, and I always say, if you come from a place of love, you really can't go wrong. But at the same time, my God, if you're 3 years old and you're saying you're feeling a certain way, you think you're a boy or a girl, whatever the case may be, I just think it's dangerous as a parent to make that determination. Then, okay, well then you're going to be a boy or a girl, whatever the case may be. And it's sort of alarming, and my gosh, I just think about the repercussions later on.
Right. What about playdates? You know what I'm saying? Like, so if I had a child and I know that in this household they're just confusing people and saying, hey, in this room you can pick your gender, I'd be like, maybe stay at Casa Lopez.
Yeah, they don't kick with us kids.
2,000 years after the departure of Jesus the Christ, the prophets are back to teach the real Jews, the 12 tribes of Israel, their true nationality. This is their campaign.
Yeah, a lot of our black men, black women, Latino men, Latino women are gay. So are they being punished for that? That's the question. How did that come about? Very good question. There's something called in verse Ezra 5 and 7.
Because I know when you growing up, you heard about the Romans or something.
They was engaged in all that garbage. What did we do? We took on the customs of the nations. We took on the customs of our captivity. Pay attention. I want to answer your question. How did the homosexual, the LGBT movement come to light today? Right? When you grew up in the 70s, the 80s, the 75 baby. Okay. Well, I'm an 80s baby. Okay? Now, at that time, homosexuality was not prevalent in the community. It was very secretive. It was frowned upon. Right? But over time, over a process of time, that type of custom became normalized. But let's understand how. Let's understand how. Read that.
First Ezra 5 verse 73. And by their secret plots and popular persuasion.
And what?
Popular persuasion and commotion.
Stop. It says by their secret plots and popular persuasion. You know what's a popular persuasion? A tool for to persuade a populace of people? The media. The media. So this is what happens. From the 80s into the 90s, they started to push the LGBT movement.
Yeah.
And this is what slowly started happening, is that they started to make what a gay or a homosexual person become a victim. And to let them become a victim, or seen victimized, right? Then they said those who frown upon the act, let them be the victimizers, meaning the accusers, and then we're not going to deal with the issue of whether it's going to be right or wrong. We're going to deal with the issue of anti-discrimination. Hold on, stick with me. I'm going to repeat myself. I don't want to lose. Okay? So they wanted to deal with, you coming up? So they wanted to deal with, you coming up? So what they wanted to deal with what? They said, let's make the gay man and gay woman victims. Let's victimize them. Then, meaning they're gonna say, because you're gay, oh, you were bullied as a child, or something along those lines. Now you become a victim. Exactly. But then they said to the straight man and the straight woman, who said, we have a moral compass, we're not going to teach our children that gay is right. You know what I mean? Then they said, you are the victimizer. You're not giving me fair play. And then they played on the ploy, whether they didn't say whether it's right or wrong, but they said this is anti-discrimination. Now they're playing on the human rights ploy. That's why the LGBT movement today is saying that this is a human rights movement, rather than what? This is right or wrong, the act of right or wrong. God says it's a wrong custom, it's a wrong act. And if our brothers and sisters stay in that custom, they can't make the kingdom.
Right.
Over time, give me wisdom of Solomon 14. Pay attention. Remember, through their popular persuasion. Because what started to happen? They started putting gays on TV, on your sitcoms, in your movies. Over time, Hollywood played a big process. Pay attention. Hold on, sis. I'm giving you how the thought came to pass. Because over time, you started seeing it more and more on your TV. Now you're saying, Now you're seeing more and more people coming out in the open, right? Now you're starting to get normalized or desensitized to it. This is by what? Popular persuasion, by the media, by the movies, by the TV screens. Now, by the time the year 2000 came past, right, you have the shows, the sitcoms Modern Family, where two gay white men can raise a child. Now we think they're funny, now we think they're hilarious, and guess what? Now it's a normal thing for two men to raise a child.
25.
And love on each other. You understand that? You got that? 14, and give me verse 16. Pay attention, pay attention.
Wisdom of Solomon 14 verse 16. Thus in process of time.
Meaning over a period of time, over from the 80s to the 90s, the 90s to the new millennium, from the new millennium to 2010 and beyond, come on.
And ungodly customs.
And ungodly custom like homosexuality.
Grown strong.
Right?
Was kept as a law.
Now what Obama passed, that gays can marry, that it's okay to be gay.
Right. Bring it out.
For a process of time, now because everybody loved Obama, everybody said he's the greatest president of all time. What did he do for us? Nothing. What did he do for them? Gave them rights.
That's right. Bring it out.
But because Obama did it, all praises. Hallelujah. Now it's widely accepted.
He read that.
Because he looked like us.
First Ezra 5:73.
You understand that? A lot of people did. That's why color matters. People say color don't matter, but they vote for Obama. It does matter. You understand that? But over a process of time, read that part again.
Thus in process of time, an ungodly custom grown strong was kept as a law.
Now we keep that as a law. Now you have LGBT rights. Now the Pride Parade has nothing to do with the quote-unquote human rights movement that they're trying to push, the agenda that they're trying to push. But when you see the parades, you see the pictures, it's nothing but perversion. They're showing half-naked men, half-naked women, with blow-up dolls and this, that, and the third, being very perverse in the streets, half-naked marching up and down the streets by the thousands, by the tens of thousands. And we say in America, oh, it's okay to love whoever you want. God
Drag
said,
queen, transgender.
Give me 1 Corinthians 6.
Don't forget Romans 1.
This was a great sin in Sodom and Gomorrah, right? Actually, give me Luke 17. He destroyed them by what? Fire and brimstone. So now let's get into some understanding. Luke 17, give me verse 30.
Luke 17 verse 30.
Pay attention.
Even thus shall it be in the day when the Son of Man is revealed.
So when Christ comes, when Christ returns, the time is going to be like what? Read on.
In that day he which shall be upon the housetop, and his stuff in the house. Verse 32, remember Lot's wife.
So he says to remember Lot's wife. What happened with Lot's wife? She left Sodom and Gomorrah. She turned to a pillar of salt. Right? That's symbolic to the times of today, because today, as such as that time, likewise is going to be when Christ comes. Meaning the same atrocities that were being committed at that time. Let me see where it is. Give me verse 28.
Luke 17 verse 28. Likewise also as it was in the days of Lot.
In the days of Sodom and Gomorrah,
they did eat, they drank, they bought, they sold.
Is that not happening today?
What's up? Oh, it was praising idols.
That was Moses, yes. That was Moses. Come on, read that again.
Likewise also as it was in the days of Lot.
Come on.
They did eat, they drank, they bought, they sold, they planted, they builded.
So just like what we're doing today, right? We're eating, we're drinking, we're buying, we're selling, we're acting like nothing's gonna happen. Right? Read on.
But the same day that Lot went out of Sodom,
The same day that Lot left Sodom,
it rained fire and brimstone from heaven.
meaning what? Sodom and Gomorrah, the 5 cities were destroyed, turned to ashes.
Bring it out.
What about the men that's killing themselves? So we feel bad when they kill themselves because they don't know how to like a woman. And now they kill themselves because
Romans 1.
they don't want to be like that. Now they kill themselves now you don't see somebody that's not. It's okay to have
Look, I feel bad for all our people out here. That's why we're out here teaching our people the right way. You understand that? Our people got to stay off drugs.
Right.
Our people got to get married.
Right.
Right? Start coming back to keep God's commandments.
Right.
So Christ is saying, just like at the time of Sodom and Gomorrah, what? The same type of agendas are going to be pushed today through popular persuasion, through our media, through our TVs, through our movies. And that over time, from the time you was in the 70s growing up till now, you started to say, hey, being gay is okay. You can love who you feel like loving. That's what God is trying to show you, how this thing over time became popular. So I'm trying to answer your question.
I'm listening to you. I think a lot of the way to get away from being responsible is just sit up here and
Yes, our men are soft as hell. Our men are soft as hell. This is what God says. Give me Hebrews 13. Listen to what God says. All right? I like what you said. I like what you said. It's true. It has some truth to it.
Hebrews 13 verse 4. Marriage is honorable in all, and the bed undefiled.
Now, that's marriage between a man and a woman, as it was from Adam and Eve's time. Right? 2 men together or 2 women together can't produce. They can't reproduce children. Right? So going back to what you're saying, you were saying that when 2 men are together, they forget the responsibility of having any children, fathering children. But do our men father children anyway now? Are there not more single-parent households than ever in our communities?
But whoremongers and adulterers, marriage is honorable in all.
God honors marriage between a man and a woman. Anything outside of that is not honorable in the sight of God. Read on.
And the bed undefiled.
And your bed between your husband and yourself is undefiled. Which I like to do in that room is up to God. God says, do your thing. Come on.
But whoremongers,
those that like to sleep around with different men and women,
and adulterers,
those that step out of that marriage, come on.
God will judge.
God will judge you with STDs. Right? Over 1 million people, according to the World Health Organization. Right? Their report as of last week, they said over 1 million people are being infected with STDs a day, daily. They're not being responsible. How many people live in Newark? Approximately 3, 4, 5 million? In less than a week, everybody in Newark gonna have STDs. That's what God is saying. Because the land is defiled. You understand that? Now, he's telling you that, read it from the top.
Marriage is honorable in all.
Because the men are not keeping this law, now the women think, oh, well, dealing with another sister, that's probably the better way. Right? Because the men are not holding that end of the bargain. Right? The man's supposed to what? Be the head of the house. Take care of the woman, take care of the children. Provide for the family. The woman's supposed to be a pillar of rest for the man. You understand? She's supposed to back a man up. He had a long day at work, rub his back. Tell him it's going to be all right.
Right.
A plate of food.
Right.
That's the thing. All these
Shut the hell up.
They wouldn't mind doing that if a man would want to be a king.
How does a man become a man? Give me 1 Kings 2 and 2.
Bring it out.
Let's understand that, sis. Let's see what God says for the men, how to be men in these last days.
Right.
Pay attention. 1 Kings 2 and 2.
1 Kings 2 verse 2. I go the way of all the earth. Be thou strong therefore, and show thyself a man.
David was speaking to who? King Solomon, his son, on his deathbed. He said, read it again, come on.
I go the way of all the
He
earth.
said, I've seen the world, come on.
Be thou strong therefore, and show thyself a man.
Be a man, Solomon, come on.
And keep the charge of the Lord thy God.
And keep the commandments of God, read on.
To walk in his ways.
Come on.
To keep his statutes and his commandments.
That's how we show ourselves men. Because as we turn back to the Lord as men, we start to understand that we can't sleep around no more with any woman that we want to do. We can't just mess around and date and this, that, and the third. I'm gonna get this jump off because it's Friday. I'm gonna get another girl because it's Saturday. And on Sunday I'm gonna chill and smoke weed with my boys. That's not responsibility. God is telling the man, you must be responsible. My laws make you responsible. My laws change you. Excuse me? Are they bored? Ask them, are they bored? Men, what are our men doing today? That's right. They're out here in the street corners, on the head of the streets, selling drugs to one another, looking for women, looking for the next thing to do, when the next blunt they're gonna smoke, what's the next drink they're gonna buy. But why are the men telling the young boys, lift up your pants, get a job, dress right? What are they telling the sisters? Give me Deuteronomy 22. This is what coming back to keep the commandments. This is why we gotta come out here. If we don't teach this Bible, God says, our people's blood is on our hands. Hold on, sis, let me read this, all right? Come on.
Deuteronomy 22 verse 5. The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. For all that do so are abomination unto the Lord thy God.
So he says the woman, he addresses the woman first. You should not wear what pertains to men. Clothing, we're talking about apparel. He says the woman should not wear what pertains to a man, and a man should not put on what pertains to a woman. Because those that do that are abomination in the sight of God. What clothes pertain to men that women wear today? Pants. Plain and simple. Right now you get the saying over time, because our foremothers never wore pants. Your grandma, her mother never wore pants. It wasn't until they stayed long enough in the mind, the society's mind today, that they started to convert to wear pants. Right? But God says that was never the case. Even our mothers in slavery wore dresses and skirts. You understand that? Now, read it again.
The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man.
Come on.
Neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. For all that do so are abomination unto the Lord thy God.
Right. Because, listen, when a man puts on a skirt or a dress, what do you think about that man? It's funny? No, that's not funny. It's no joke. The man is destroyed. When a man puts on a woman's skirt or dress, a blouse, a bra, what do you think about that, brother? Huh?
He ain't real right.
He ain't real right. He ain't right at all.
Right.
God said that's abomination.
That's right.
Now read the first part of that law.
The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man.
Now God says that women shall not wear what pertains to men, meaning pants. Because God says that's not real right with him either. It's not right at all. Because it puts a certain spirit on you as a woman. I wear the pants now. I'm in charge. You understand that?
I looked at it according to the weather. You're dressing according to whatever makes you.
I'm just saying.
It's hot outside. Why you got pants on? That's a question. You said you dress according to the weather, according to what makes you warm, but it's 88 degrees out today. Why do you got on a skirt or a dress?
God didn't make clothes. He made us live. So what you're saying is, as far as man and clothes and female and man clothes, where does that fall in the Bible? If he didn't make clothes, that was man-made.
Read it again.
The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment.
Stop. God says women should not wear what pertains to men, neither should a man put on a woman's garments. Okay, and that's plain, right? That's plain and simple. We're talking about apparel. Okay, now you're saying we all came out naked, right? As a child, as a baby. And what happened? Somebody swallowed you in clothes, right? Give me that original Solomon. Hold that. Give me that original Solomon. Let's prove it. Okay? 7.
Wisdom of Solomon 7 verse 2. And in my mother's womb in my mother's womb was fashioned to be flesh in the time of 10 months.
Meaning full term, right? Come on.
Being compacted in blood of the seed of man and the pleasure that came with sleep.
Come on.
And when I was born, I drew in the common air,
right,
and fell upon the earth,
right,
which is like nature. And the first voice which I uttered was crying, as all others do. I was nursed in swallowed in clothes.
So he was nursing what? Swaddling in clothes. When a baby's just born, you just leave him, but no, you put a wrap on him, right? So yeah, man had to create the garment, correct? To cover ourselves. That's fine. Why? Because that was what God ordained.
But as you think about it, with Jesus Christ and the Israelites, when he skinned his clothes, it wasn't a man's garment or a female garment, they just had robes.
No, that's what you see in the movies that this devil wore. That's what you see in the movie.
So in the Bible when it says that
right. We're going to show you what Christ wore. Alright? We start at Christ wore. Give me verse 1.
Revelation 1 verse 1. The revelation of Jesus Christ.
So now we're going to reveal the clothing of Christ. Okay, drop down to verse 12.
And I turned to see the voice that spake with me.
Right? So this is John the Baptist, John the Revelator speaking with Christ, right? Come on.
And being turned, I saw 7 golden candlesticks.
What he saw was a menorah, not a cross. Come on.
And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man.
Who was Christ?
Clothed with a garment.
Clothed with what?
Garment with a garment down to the foot.
So he had a garment down to the foot like my brother got on here, right? Come on.
And girt about the paps with the golden girdle.
Meaning what? He had a golden belt. A golden belt like my brother has here. Right? He wasn't wearing a toga like the Romans. That wasn't his style. Now when the sister came to touch the hem of his garment, the print on the border of his garment, that's how she was healed, right? That's how he understood that. But Christ wore what? A garment. Our forefathers wore garments.
Now they will see the true men of God. We are not black men, we are the Israelites.
So hard to serve God. And why when I say that I'm a Jew, it sound odd? For years I've been walking around saying that I'm a black man. I ain't saying that no more, it sounds wrong, man.
This is Bishop Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. Please subscribe to our YouTube channels. Stay up to date with our latest events, music, and classroom lessons. IUIC plans to continue visiting different countries where this gospel has not been preached before. IUIC needs your help in pushing this truth. So join us. Subscribe to our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and podcasts, and stay up to date with us. For more information, please visit www.israelunite.org.